Well, hello there, Retro PC Durham. It's Chris here with yet another ThinkPad we've had for a couple of weeks now, and this is a fun one. So again, I've had a bunch of these i5 Gen 1 and Gen 2 ThinkPads come my way, and these are the second and third generation of the ThinkPad rebranding when they kind of were, done with the IBM ThinkPads and we're going with the Lenovo ThinkPads. This is a second generation. This is a T410s. The S standing for slimline. So this was the move into bringing out a thin and kind of light laptop, hearkening me back to the ThinkPad 600 series from way back in the day, and quite a fun little laptop. So let's take a look at what we've got in these systems. So the ThinkPad 600 was a slimline, so a 13.3 inch. This one has a 14.1 inch, right? Similar to the T410, which would be its namesake coming out at the same time. 1440 by 900 screen, and there was actually a model of this, and we're talking about 2010, I think, 2010. This had an option where there was a 14.1 inch touch screen available on this one. Now, I'm not sure how often that came out and how relevant, and if it actually worked all that well, because we're talking about quite a while ago, obviously. But yeah, 14.1 inch, 1440 by 900 screen, and another model that had a touchscreen. I'm pretty sure this isn't a touchscreen. We'll find out, I guess, when we boot it up. I don't remember even checking to see if it had touchscreen capability when I was getting the system restored, but we'll find that out. As far as processors go, there was only a couple processors that were supported on this. The Core i5, again, this is Gen 1, 520, 560, and 580. So all dual core processors, and from 2.4 to 2.66 gigahertz in terms of processor performance. ThinkLight and a camera included at the top. And then your ThinkPad keyboard with UltraNav and a fingerprint reader. We'll take a look at what's going on in the back here. So battery-wise, we had, instead of the usual battery at the back of the unit here, we actually had the battery located in the front. So there was only the one battery option that was available for this, which was going to be this slim-looking thing right here. The 59 plus is what it was marked as. So this is not a huge capacity battery, but the idea was that this was supposed to be a slimline system. And then you've got your panel here, which opens up for memory access, as well as, I believe, an mSATA slot, which would have supported a WAN card. And actually, if I pull this back off here, you can actually see right here, this part here had a slot for me to insert. Can you see that? Right in there, you could actually put your full-size SIM card in, which would be able to go and talk to your WAN card if you had one installed in this one. Of course, that mSATA port would be available for you to install a possible SSD card. However, the system already has an SD card, and bearing with the slimline design, we're going to get the old orange screwdriver out here, was kind of interesting in terms of what it was. I'm going to pull this panel off here and show you. You might never have seen these because they're not very popular and didn't live very long within the laptop world. This being a 1.8 inch form factor SSD. This is a 128 gigs. So it's just a 128 gig SSD, not that big. However, look at the form factor. Right, 1.8 inch. This laptop, these series of laptops, actually had support even for a 120 or 250 gig 1.8 inch spinning disk. It must have been absolutely tiny. Anyways, I found that quite interesting to see these little card. It almost looks like a PCMCIA card slot form factor for a storage drive. But of course, it is a full SATA drive. In terms of its connectivity options, although this looks a little bit slim. On some of the larger ThinkPad models, there would have been an adapter available to convert this from its standard 1.8 form factor to a 2.5 inch, so it could fit into the regular size laptops as well. And that was just a cost saving measure to not have to do manufacturing and supply chain for two different lines of solid state disks. Although for the 2.5 inch, for the 1.8 inch SATA drives that they had those options for, obviously that would have been a separate market line for those. So interesting, the decisions that you make when you're doing these design choices. I'm not sure how popular those spinning discs would have been in this product line anyway, because I believe this was a premier product in terms of its cost, and the expectation that this would be more of an executive model. You wanted something that was thin and light because you're going on airplanes all the time and closing really big deals, etc., etc. Ports wise, we'll take a look at what's going on. The front only has your connection clip, although there is a smart card, I believe. No, that's the hard drive. So there's the panel for the hard drive in the front there. No smart card on that side. Mechanical on-off switch for our Wi-Fi. Our multi-burner 3, this is the same multi-burner that would exist in the other models of this generation. And a Kensington lock. Then at the rear of the system, we'll have our barrel plug, VGA out, our modem adapter, powered USB 2, an eSATA port, and a display port. We've got some exhaust coming out the back, and more exhaust on the side here. And then we'll have another USB port on this side. Audio, and then we'll have our express card slot right down here. And that would be it for ports on the system. So why don't we boot this puppy up? Oh, I didn't mention, we do have mechanical docking, so the same mechanical docking capability that you would have on the other laptops like a T410 or a T510, and that was multi-generational as well. They didn't change the dock connection type for quite a few model types. So if you were running a business and you had docks at everyone's desk, you didn't have to swap out the docks every, maybe you bought the docks and you didn't have to swap those out every 9 years instead of every 3 years with the rest of the systems. So we'll get this thing plugged into power, because I'm not entirely sure how much battery life is left on the battery on here, or if it's been discharged. I was going through quite a few of these systems, and some of them I was doing the boot ups and unplugging them and plugging them in as they were updating Windows, so not all of them maybe have a full battery. This one looks like it's green, so it should be okay. Anyways, let's open it up and get Windows booted. Power up. I'm going to get this going, and I'm going to get that ThinkLight turned on because, of course I am. Got to run with our ThinkLight on. Windows 10 will be running on here. I am expecting this to load relatively quickly because it is an SSD drive, right, as opposed to a spinning disk. So it should go super lightning awesome fast, being an SSD base. And it is actually quite a fast boot by comparison to some of the other models that I've been showing off the last couple of weeks with standard SATA drives. Let's take a look at specs. So, as noted, we only had a couple of different model processor choices on this machine, and mainly because it was this slimline design. I'm guessing that Lenovo didn't want to go overboard in terms of the processor capability. So there's only the three i5 mobile processors, the 520, 560, and 580. This is the lowest end, obviously, the 2.4 gigahertz dual-core processor. So it's 2 cores, 4 threads, and you wouldn't see an i7 in here. There was no discrete graphics because of the space, obviously, and cooling requirements, so it's just the standard Intel HD graphics. We'll check here. I don't have the touch screen. I didn't think I would, but you can see here it is the 1440 by 900 in terms of the screen resolution. Memory-wise, we've got 4 gig of DDR3 installed in here, perfectly acceptable amount of money for a basic laptop these days. You can get up to 8 gig. You can put 2 4 gig DIMMs in here, and you might even be able to get a pair of 8 gigs in here as well. No guarantees whether or not it's going to work, or you have to go third-party BIOS to get that to happen. But all in all, pretty decent in terms of capacity. And then as we already took a look at here, we've got that Samsung SSD. It's 128 gig on the label, and Windows is seeing 119 available in the drive itself for usable space. So that's okay, pretty decent functionality. And as far as look and feel, a really nice laptop, really slim and enjoyable experience to sit on your lap and throw in a bag And obviously still having things like the mechanical docking available makes it really helpful if you're in that type of environment where you want to sit down. I actually have docks for a number of these, so when these do go to the donation, when they do go to the Children's Aid Foundation, I will actually be included docks with them. So if they're in an environment where someone can be able to set up a keyboard and mouse and a monitor, that they can plug in the laptop at the end of the day, sit down at that desk, and then they can unplug and stick in their bag and have that enjoyable user experience that so many ThinkPad users have had over the years. I hope you have had an enjoyable user experience watching this video, and let me know when it comes to the T410s or any of these slimline ThinkPads from this generation, is there the same level of upgradability that exists within like the T410, T420, T430? Does that exist in these as well, or are they really kind of niche in terms of wanting to look at that slimline and don't have the same level of upgradability based on the smaller size? I'd be interested to know what your experiences have been, so please comment down below and let me know what you've experienced. As always, I hope that you are staying safe and healthy, and we will catch you in the next one.